Okay, so this is on the Google Classroom on the stream. It's a list of the projects that we've done so far for this quarter. We are going to be coming up on the 5-week marking period and the next week or two, so want to make sure that we have some stuff done. First of all, the 5 orthographic drawings of your puzzle cubes. That's the front, right, top, and isometric with dimensions. That's past due and should be done. If you got a 0 in the grade book because of that, just get it done and turn it in, and I'll be changing that grade, okay? No penalty for turning in late. The next thing is the turn in for 2D sketching tools. I talked about this the last lecture that we had on Monday or Tuesday, depending on what class you're in. Those should be done and ready to print and put in the turn-in box today or tomorrow. 2D practice drawings, those are due on Friday at 11:59, and it says, please remember to make your drawings look like my drawings. And I've seen a couple of the drawings online that students had turned in, or not turned in yet, but had actually put out or had made, and they weren't quite where they should be. But no, okay. And then last week's lecture is on here on the Google Classroom also, so you can see the last lecture I did. All right, so go ahead and open up your practice part drawing, and we're going to walk through drawing number 4 and how to do that, because there's a couple things on there that you guys will probably have trouble with. If you have already gotten it done and it's finished and it's right, then excellent. And if you haven't gotten it done, maybe this will help you, okay? So this is the drawing right here. I'll back out just a little bit maybe. Yep, there we go. And remember, the first thing I look at when I am evaluating a drawing and how I'm going to attack it, what is that first thing I look for? I look for its shape, right? The outside shape. And this thing is 3 inches by 3 inches, which means that it's a square. So we're going to start with that. So I'm going to go down here to, let's see, I'll move this thing right here right now. I'm going to go down to my little plus sign. I'm going to create a new part studio. I've already done that, and I'm going to name that, rename that practice part number 4. Now, I'm going to start with a sketch on this front work plane, just like I seem to always do, and I'll orient it so that I'm looking directly at it. I'm going to push the P key because that gets rid of those work planes and leaves my origin right in the middle of the screen. Now, I'll use my rectangle tool, and I'll go to my origin and start there, click and bring this out. And it's asking me for the lower dimension right now, which is going to be 3 inches. Then it's asking me for the vertical dimension, which is also going to be 3 inches. I'll click on front again just to kind of make this thing, zoom in a little bit. All right, now let's look back at the part here, the drawing. So we've got some stuff on here. We've got a circle. We all know how to draw circles. Let's see, what else do we have? We have these up here on these corners. Those angles are called chamfers. And I'm going to show you a little trick for doing the chamfers. We have these rounded corners down here. Those are called fillets, and I will show you how to do fillets in a few minutes. We also have these 2 long slots on here, and this is the ones that we're going to start with, is the slot command. So the very first thing I want to do with this particular part is I'm going to start the line command, and I'm going to go to the middle of the top line. I'm going to click, and I'm going to bring that down to the middle of the bottom line. And then I'm going to right click on that, and I'm going to turn that into a construction line. And same deal here with this horizontal line, okay? Not sure that I really need it, but I'm going to put it on there. And because I had started that construction tool, it's already drawing the line as a construction line. So I didn't have to change that one. All right, back to my picture. All right, so the first thing here is we can put the slot on here. Now, the slot tool is pretty neat because it cuts out a lot of difficulties that I have when I make slots. And there's multiple ways to do this. This is, though, my preferred way. And I'm going to start the slot command with drawing a line. So I started my line tool, and I'm just going to come out here, and I'm going to click, and I'm going to pull that down, and I'll hit escape, and that did not start as a construction line, and I do want that to be a construction line. So I'm going to right click on it, and I'll hit construction. So now this is a construction line. I'm going to look at my drawing and get some dimensions. First of all, from the bottom of the part to the intersection of the center of this radius right here is 1/2 inch. Now, we are missing a dimension on this part, and that is up here at the top. This center mark right here is not dimensioned. So we're just going to make the assumption that it's the same dimension from the top here to the center as it is down here on the bottom, which is 1/2 inch. So back to my on shape. So I'm going to hit my dimension tool. I'm going to click on the bottom line, and I'm going to click on the bottom point of that construction line that I just drew. And I'm going to make this 0.5. I'm going to do the same thing at the top, except I'm going to click the top line, and I'm going to get that point. I'm going to do 0.5. I have one more dimension that I need to put on here, and that is the distance from this edge to the center of the slot right there. So dimension tool is still going. So that's from this vertical line to the end point here. And I'm going to put in the dimension of 0.5. And that line turns black for me now, which means that it is fully constrained. And that's the thing that we need to know. All right. So let's go back to our drawing and take a look at the slot a little bit more. It tells me that it has a radius of 1.25. What that means is from the center of the slot where that cross is to the edge of the arc is 0.125 inches. So that's a radius, remember, please. R is radius. Now, the slot tool. I can't find it on here right now, so I'm just going to click on Search Tools, and I'm going to type in the word slot. And there it is. And here's the instructions. It says you're going to add, well, that's not the one. There it is. There's slot. Oops. Let's go back to that. All right. It says you're going to create a slot around the selected sketch curves, including lines, splines, and arcs. We have a line that we're going to create this slot on. By pre-selecting the sketch curves, results of the slots of the same dimension. So you're going to pre-select sketch curves, then we're going to click the tool, and then we're going to double click the dimension to edit and press enter to save. All right, so here we go. I just clicked on slot, and what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to click on that line right there, and it automatically put that slot in there. Now, up here at the top is a dimension. Mine defaulted to 0.25 because I was practicing this earlier, but you will probably have to change that number. Now, it's 0.25 because the radius is 0.125, and they want the diameter, which is twice the radius. So it's going to be 0.25 for that number right there. You can change that by double clicking on it, and modifying it if you want. But if you don't want, it's good. Just go ahead and click, and you should get that slot. Now, how's that? Did you guys follow that? Yes? Emily, how about you? Yes? Gage, you got it? All right, excellent. So how do I get this slot over onto the other side? Go ahead, Richie. Exactly, right? Mirror tool. So, well, I can't find mirror again, so guess what we're going to do? Mirror. And to do the mirror, the first thing it says is it wants me to select a mirror line. So I click that. Now I want to click the entities to mirror. And that should be it. Okay. Probably should have done that center line too. Let's do that again. And then I'll do this center line. Okay. Not a big deal. All right. So I've got my mirrored slide on here. The next thing, and this is going to be the last thing I want to put on this drawing, on this sketch, is this circle right here. And I don't know what the diameter is of that. So let's just give it a number. What do you guys think? What do you want to use for a number? 2? All right, let's give it a try and see how it goes, Emily. So I'm going to use my circle tool. I'm going to come to that intersection, click, and I'm going to guess that 2 is too big. Yep, it is. But we can change that, right? I can escape a couple times, and then I can just double click on that dimension. Let's try 1. Yeah, 1 looks good. All right. So we've got all the stuff on here now that we want to put on our sketch. So I'm going to green check mark, and I'm going to go isometric. And I want to do my extrusion. And I want to click just in the middle of that thing someplace. And I believe it says the thickness is 0.25 inches. So I'm going to put in 0.25 and green check mark. And we are getting pretty close to being done. We only have, well, it's really 4 things we have to do. All right. This corner right here, this angled line, that angled line is what's called a chamfer. Okay? And chamfers just mean a straight line, but at an angle. And it's always between a horizontal and a vertical line, essentially. So we have to know how long the distance is from this top line here to that point where the vertical line intersects this angle. And that's actually these 2 numbers right here. It's 3 inches minus 0.275, which will give us the distance of 1/4 of an inch from the end of that vertical line to going straight up to this horizontal line. It would be the same thing if I was coming from this right-hand edge to that point where the horizontal line meets the angled line. The difference there mathematically is 0.25 inches. So this is a 1/4 of an inch chamfer. All right, back to my program here. And I'll go to my search tools. I'm going to type in chamfer. And tells to select 1 or more edges or faces, specify the width, and then whether you want it to do more of them. All right. So the first thing it's asking me for here is the entities to chamfer. I want to chamfer that line. You can see it shows me a preview of it, right? And I want to chamfer that line on the opposite corner. So I can choose multiple things to chamfer. Now, the distance here, that's going to be 0.25 and green check mark. So chamfers, once you know their length and height, aren't too bad to do. That's a 45-degree or an equal chamfer. Now, the other thing we need to do to this is on the bottom here, on this corner and this corner, those are called fillets. Fillets are rounded edges. So radius of 0.25, that's what we need to know on this one right here. So I'll move my little message out of the way here. I'll pick up here. All right, so let's go search tools again. I could probably look for it up here, but it's way more fun to do this. Fillet and entities to fillet. So that's going to be this corner right here. And then I'm going to zip around here, turn this around, and click on the opposite corner. And my radius is supposed to be 0.25. And then I'll green check mark. And now if I take a look at my front view here, there's that part completed. Okay. All right. Does anybody have a question? No? Were you able to follow? How about you, Gage? Okay. All right. So that's the end of that. All right. And